And I'm a botanist by trade. Also did biology work for a number of years, over 30. I'm starting to feel that. But my primary thing now, after years and years of surveying and trying to find whatever it was I was looking for, whether it was a plant or a wildlife, one of the things that you quickly realize after surveying is there's a reason we have rare species, and it's because of lack of habitat. And then what does that, then the next question is, well, why? Why, what's the deal with, what's the connection with the lack of habitat? And so as a botanist, I was turning to plants going, what is this? And pretty soon, through the new field of ecology, and it is fairly new, you're finding that it's all about relationships. And what a beautiful thing that is. So we're going to talk about that today, relationships that plants have with our wildlife. And just, you know, as you're out and about and you're looking for things, you might find this. And what is this? It looks like a pile of bird poop. And it is actually larvae. It is a red-spotted purple butterfly larvae. That's what their caterpillar looks like. And that larvae, in particular, must have, one of its hosts is red cherry. Without red cherry, or black cherry, I'm sorry, we don't have these beautiful butterflies and insects. So we're going to talk about that today, the vitality of your garden, and building that case then for nature in our gardens. So what is a native species? We talk about this, we talk about invasives. We've got to understand what the definition is. And a native species is a plant or animal occurring in its natural range. In other words, humans haven't brought it from someplace else and plucked that plant. This is occurring in its natural range, where it has significant and life-supporting relationships with other organisms. That's the key. Okay, one more time for me. That guy right there is what? Monarch. What does monarch butterfly need to complete its life cycle? Milkweed. So in order to live, monarch butterfly must have native milkweed when it's in North America. How about tropical milkweed? Can we just bring up tropical milkweed and plug it here? It doesn't work. Tropical milkweed, if it survives here in North America, will actually begin to build a toxin that is poisonous to monarch butterflies. Where is tropical milkweed native to? The tropics. Leave it there. Because when monarch butterfly migrates to its home in the tropics, it needs its tropical milkweed there. It's not producing the toxin there because it's in its natural range. So let's hone this in. These are all beautiful, from the blueberries to the red buds with that gorgeous little bird. All of them. Whether it's the spring azure using the dogwood, or the question mark butterfly using common hackberry. How about the black swallowtail using azizia? How about the tulip poplar is a host for eastern tiger swallowtail? And pawpaws. Everybody know what a pawpaw is?
Yeah.
Pawpaw is host to zebra swallowtail. I could take my entire caterpillar moth book and flip in every page. Ha! That one needs this plant. Oh, they're mustards. They need mustard plants. All the way over to Henry's elfin must have red bud, or it will also use maple leaf viburnum. Violets in your yard. They are host for the great spangled fritillary. Violets that people kill. They're like, I can't have a violet in my yard should be fescue. But they're a host to the great spangled fritillary. If these butterfly larvae don't have their host, just like monarch, we don't have them. Period. It's all about relationships. Is that not cool? That's good stuff. I mean, how long does it take you to develop your relationship with your spouse? Long time. You got to work at it. So what's an invasive species? The exact opposite. Number one, it is non-native. A lot of people, and I hear this, as a biologist working in the field, even as a restoration ecologist, I will hear my partners say, well, red maple is invasive. No, it is not.
Might be aggressive.
It's aggressive. Red maple is native to Indiana. The very first thing to be an invasive species is to be non-native. And 2, then it must cause harm. And we're going to dive into that definition of causing harm in just a minute. But it causes harm to the environment, human health, and the economy. They are the second leading threat to endangered species, the second leading threat to our forests. And in 2012, the United States Geological Society announced that the annual environmental, medical, and economic cost of invasive species is greater than all natural disasters combined. Wow. They touch every aspect of your life, from military readiness to diseases to whether you're going to have chickens or not. Every aspect of your life is impacted by invasive species. The fish that you will get, the air, the soil health. They're highly fecund. That means they just have a lot of viable seeds. Oriental bittersweet, where's it from? The Orients. Right? I love the names, common names of our plants and our they're wonderful. Crow poison. You know, I mean, we have all kinds of wonderful common names, and part of that naming is to identify where it's from. It's not a derogatory thing. It's from the Orient, and you know what? Who loves the look of the Orient? Yeah. Who doesn't love the look of a Japanese garden? That is not derogatory. It tells us where it's from, and it gives us a hint. Is it native or non-native? All right? You go to the store and you see Japanese, yada, 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 barberry. Where's it from? It's not from here. Ding, ding, ding. All right? So most of the time that'll give us a key clue. So Oriental bittersweet, the seeds of Oriental bittersweet are 90+% viable. In a plant world, that's insane. That's not normal. And we don't necessarily know why, don't even know if it's that viable in its home range, all right? Our native bittersweet, called American bittersweet, we're lucky to get 25% viability. And that's okay. Because it's living with all kinds of other things. It doesn't need to have 90+% seed viability. It needs to have relationships with everything else. It needs to allow other things to live. So we got a problem. If this guy is planted all over the place and its seed viability is that high, it is going to outcompete our native. They tolerate many different soil conditions, whether that's light regimes, soil acidity, or moisture regimes. They have extended growing seasons. What's the last thing to be green? Japanese honeysuckle, Japanese Asian I can't even talk. Burning bush, as well as Asian Japanese bush honeysuckle. Thank you. They lack predation or herbivory. We just saw all of those insects. Our insects don't eat invasive non-native plants. It's part of the reason we have them here. And they create monocultures. They outcompete native plants. You just saw that picture of kudzu all over the place. If there is a list of 120 different invasive species, plant species in Indiana, and we haven't gotten them all on the list. Every one of those is behaving like kudzu somewhere. We also help non-natives succeed, right? It's a $17 billion industry. That's why you don't hear about it on the news. But we plant them over and over. From the East Coast to the West Coast, we planted burning bush, Callery pear, Japanese barberry, Chinese silvergrass. I can go on. We share them. If we like something, we're going to give it away. That's what we do. We plant them in abundance. We line that driveway that's a quarter-mile long with 30 calorie pick, right? And we remove competition and we baby them. Of course. We get rid of everything else because we want what we just spent our hard-earned money on to grow. Mm-hmm. And this is what we get. Mm-hmm. We are the problem. But that leads to we are the solution. And that's a good thing. 83% of the woody invasives that are in our natural areas come from your yard. Let me say that one more time. 83% of the woody invasives in our natural areas come from your yard. Our landscapes, I don't care how tiny your landscape is or how many acres you have, It is one of two things. It is a solution or a problem. That's the truth. It's a sweet thing right now to be alive because we now recognize this relationship that plants have, and we know who the problem is. And therefore, we have the solution. It's us. What a time to be alive right now, because we can start immediately seeing that's an invasive, got to go. I'm only going to use natives. Japanese knotweed, you guys, I'm just going to run through a few of them. This is all over Brown County Brown County, Japanese knotweed is. It was the top landscape plant about 200 years ago. The top. It's beautiful. It is extremely invasive. They used to think that it would control the erosion of riparian areas along stream banks. That is not what it does. What this is? Bush honeysuckle, which I couldn't spit out for the life of me earlier. Beautiful red berries. Dense habitat. The red berries don't provide the nutrients the birds need. This dense habitat, there's quite a bit of research that shows when the birds are landing and nesting, when they're nesting in this habitat, something to do with the leaf, the structure of the plant actually allows predators to climb up on the plant because it bends very easily, right? Y'all have done that? That bending allows a predator to access to the nest. Versus our native shrubs, which would be much stouter, all right, and they may not get so low to the ground. They would nest up and have a predation would not be as prevalent. Here's one that is just now starting to become a problem. This is, so I used to work in the glades in southern Indiana. It was one of my specialties, and this is a patch of native grass in this beautiful native sugar cane. Native, my glades right over here. All of this, it's over an acre, is Chinese silvergrass. One more. And this is an Indiana right-of-way. Chinese silvergrass is a fire hazard, number one, and it creates a monoculture. That is not diversity. That's not supporting insects, means the bats and the birds and everything else are not supported either. In North Carolina, their number 2 fire call right now is Chinese silvergrass on the side of the mountains. And not only does Chinese silvergrass then destroy their pastures, but because it's so tall, does everybody know what Chinese silvergrass is? That big bunch grass that we love. There's over 100 cultivars. We love to plant it. And we like to plant it at the end of our driveway where the wind likes to take and move it even faster along. But anyway, so it's so tall that it's candling. We call that flame is candling that flame, and it's now taking down the forest. So it's a 50-acre infestation in Indiana. There's more. They're in Monroe County. We live in Fayette County now, and I'm seeing it along the side of the road in Fayette County now. They use this is their income, and it is a loss. In addition, they sell their hay to Missouri, Illinois. We spread it all over the place. Next slide. Couple more, heavenly bamboo. Just I want you to be aware that this is now for sale in Brown County. Some of you may even already have it in your landscape. It contains cyanide. Beautiful. This foliage turns red. Beautiful red berries. The birds like this cedar waxwing and robins and other thrushes. What do they go in the winter for? They're looking for their native red berries, only they don't know the term native. They're just looking for food. This contains enough cyanide that it kills the birds, and they're found dead beneath the bushes. It's disturbing. Next slide. Garlic mustard, brought here hundreds of years ago as a culinary herb. Well, these little mustard butterflies, there's more than just one. That particular one is the West Virginia white butterfly. There are other mustard butterflies. One of them is orange falcate tip, found here in Indiana. They're looking for their host plant, which is native mustards, like toothwort. And when they find garlic mustard, which is often what some of our woodlands look like, they think they found their host plant. They lay their egg on it, and the egg dies. It never even has a chance. It's not their native mustard. The chemical compounds exuded by this plant are too strong. As I mentioned earlier, the definition of invasive is non-native causes harm. We've had lots of examples of harm. But here's one that's not on the invasive species list because we don't see it moving right now outside of the landscape area. This is butterfly bush, Budelia. It's beautiful. And you're going to say, Dawn, I see all kinds of adult butterflies on my butterfly bush. Don't you tell me that's causing harm. Adults can nectar on a lot of things. Their larvae have to have their host plant. If our landscapes are full of species that are not providing habitat, food for their larvae insects, and we plant them everywhere, we have 4 million acres of lawns, people. We have so much ag, we have so much development. Our lawns, if they could just be full of native habitat, we wouldn't have the problem, part of the problem that we have. It's not just habitat, but it is a lot of it. The Kew Botanical, this is the big, giant, global botanical. They put out a report every year. And in 2018, that was several years ago now, they said 21% of the world's plants are in trouble. We love plants. It's a big $17 billion industry. Why would we have 21% of our plants in trouble if we love them so much? Because we don't understand what they are. I had a lady, she came up to me and she said, Dawn, I want to help monarch butterflies. So she cleared her garden and she planted lots and lots of native milkweed, full. She was looking out her window one day and she's telling me this story and she said, I looked out my window and the leaves were curled, Dawn. They were eaten. They had chew holes. And the plant looked terrible. She said, those were my monarch. Those were my butterfly weed. She said, I went out there and I flipped every one of them off. Killed them all. What did she kill? The larvae. The food that they needed was the milkweed. She didn't understand that. Caterpillars. I think I forgot something. Caterpillars feed. Yes, caterpillars do feed chicks. Go to the next one for me. Hit that thing again. So it takes about 9,000 to 15,000 caterpillars. They use spiders a little bit, but mostly caterpillars to feed one nest. How many eggs? 4 to 5. So year after year, this thing can't find enough caterpillars. That adult might live 8 years. Well, how many years are we going to wait till the generations stop? Do you see what I'm saying? This poor bird, or this bird, not a poor bird, but that bird can try 8 years and get enough caterpillars in a landscape that looks like this. It isn't happening. We don't just have one nest of chickens. We want hundreds of different birds. Birding is probably the second hottest topic other than plants, and I only know plants are so hot because I haven't been a botanist, right? I mean, that's what's most important.
Birding second, is that what you said?
No, I did, yes. Are you going to challenge me? Next slide. This is not native habitat. This is Japanese barberry. We had no idea we had these infestations in Indiana, and this is a small one compared to the one I found 2 months ago. These neighbors have simply raised their hand and they say, Dawn, can you come look at our property? We do this through a program that I run and we do it for free, and this is what we're finding. That is not a healthy forest. That is an infestation. That is a monoculture just like kudzu, only it's in the woods. There's no tree regeneration. The insects aren't able to use that. It's not supplying bird or bat habitat, and I can go on and on. This habitat alteration that happens with these monocultures, this particular species creates a very moist, dense, thorny habitat. Trees cannot grow through it. Mice love it. Mice are the first vectors for ticks. Now we have an increase in ticks, potentially. Potentially. What comes with ticks? Diseases? We're just asking for it. But we can do something different. We recognize the problem, we start to manage and remove it, and we stop using non-native species. Next slide. Next slide. This is Japanese spirea. All of this is Japanese spirea. And we have this in Indiana. You can go buy it at the store. This is sweet autumn clematis. Beautiful vine with a gorgeous white little flower. It's a very floral. It's all the way up in the trees. This is an attempt at restoration, but this vine is so weak that you can't really pull it. It breaks. You can't mow it. It just creates a stronger, denser root mass underneath the ground, so it just comes back. You don't really want to foliar spray it because you're killing everything underneath it that you need to thrive and take over. What do we do? As a restoration ecologist, I'm going to say it again, what you plant in your yard is a nightmare often for us if it's not native. Burning bush, in the 1940s, this is a bird sanctuary here in Indiana. Here it is. This is what it looked like after we cleared it. There were 3 burning bushes planted along the trail in the 1940s. Hundreds, not hundreds, yes, this is 700 acre. Hundreds of acres now infested. No tree regeneration happening, not food for the birds or the wildlife, although it's a bird sanctuary. This is the biomass in 1 acre that we pulled out in 2 hours during one of our weed wrangles. That's insane, isn't it? Next slide. I'm going to say it again. This is beautiful. This is cool. I mean, you can sit in your backyard and go, huh, I wonder what just landed on my shoulder. Maybe it's the mourning cloak, which needs American elm. It's a gorgeous adult butterfly as well as an I mean, some of these things are, I mean, I have to admit, when something lands on me, you know, I'm like, oh, what is that? And then you begin to go, all right, so what does it need? How can my yard help that particular moth or butterfly? How can I feed the bats? They're not looking for mosquitoes as much as they're looking for moths. Moths are first the larvae. They've got to have their host plant. Next slide. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your landscape style is. Substitute a native. If you plant native trees and shrubs, you support lots and lots of different ones. They give you the biggest bang for your buck. Oak tree will support over 900. Now this is across the United States. This is not just Indiana. These are, you need to plant an oak tree that's native to Indiana, not one that's native to California. Cherry tree across the United States supports 556 different moth and butterfly species, to include that beautiful thing that looks like a pilot bird poop. Red spotted purple. Red bud, Henry's elfin. This is a Henry's elfin right before it goes into the cocoon stage. This is it as an adult. You probably will never see it. But I promise you, if I see that on my red bud, everybody in the whole state's going to hear me start yelling because I am excited. I want to see that. What? I mean, this is cool. We've got 4 different species of blueberry in Indiana. Don't plant a non-native one. Lots of native mast, nuts, and berries here in Indiana. These I did not take this one. I did not take this one. But elderberry, sumac, witch hazel, hazelnut, obviously the oaks, next slide, and the beautiful fall color that our native plants will serve. I mean, it looks like fire surrounding a field when the sumac. You know, and we may not like all of our natives. Certainly a plant is a plant is a plant. It can be toxic to us. There are all kinds of different things. It can be food, it can be clothing. The poison ivy, which is what these 2 woodpeckers, we took these from our backyard. Birds, it's native, so birds are using it. So we may not like it, and I am highly allergic to poison ivy. I've actually been hospitalized with it because I've had it down my throat. I don't let it grow on my trails. I don't let it grow in my house. But in the woods, where I'm not going to be all the time, it's native. It gets to go. And they get to benefit from it. So I'm going to wrap it up here because our gardens, they may not be a preserve, and you may think, I got a 1/4 of an acre, I got an 1/8 of an acre, or I have 1,500 acres, and by gosh, I just want it to be this. But please understand, they are either a neighbor to something that we're trying to protect, and it doesn't matter, birds can take them for many miles, right? They can take that the non-native calorie pair many miles. The wind can blow, Chinese silvergrass, many miles, and people can bring it in on their clothes and their shoes from many miles away. So you're either a neighbor or you are an oasis in a sea of development, and our wildlife are looking for those little oases. They need them, whether they're on their journey south or they just need to raise their young, whatever it is, you're part of the solution. So even when you think you just have junk, you're part of the system. This is our program. We call it the Indiana Invasives Initiative. We are focused on invasives because we really care and love our North American native species. And as somebody who's done this for years, if we don't address the elephant in the room, we're not going to have anything else. We just simply go to the solution, and that's the community. That's you. That's me and you together. We've got plenty of experts. They don't ever share anything. This program takes the information to the communities. We listen, we share your stories, we want to know what you want from your property, why does that matter to you. We seek your help and ideas because, quite frankly, we got a big problem and we need lots of help. We are here to empower you so that you can make the choice that you really want to make. So over 6.5 years, we've done about 1,400 plus outreach events. We do in Indiana, we do about 200 weed wrangles a year. Now, weed wrangles are an event where you get together with your community in your favorite park, and they happen all across North America. And most states, I brought this with me when I came and started this program. Most states, in fact, there's maybe only one or two that might do 60, maybe 70 weed wrangles a year. But in Indiana, because we tackle it at the county community level, we do over 165 a year. We've done over 1,600 private property site visits, and we've walked over 46,000 acres with landowners, all for free. All you gotta do is say, hey, I need some help. Can you help me identify what's growing? Because I want to know what I've got going on. Is my stuff escaping? Is my neighbor's stuff impacting my yard? What's going on? These are just, those were just, logos from some of our SISMAs. Here's our map. We're all about, again, going into the community and creating groups that can help facilitate native habitat, help our landowners understand that they are part of the solution. This is our landowner survey map. It just shows where we've been, who we're walking and talking with. And here's our weed wrangle map. That's a little challenging to say, weed wrangle, for Indiana. We do it different than any other state. We're really here to empower our citizens. So we've got a challenge ahead of us, but we really need to create gardens like artificial feeders don't exist. They will not shove seed down their baby birds' throats. They cannot, they will not. They've got to have insects and mostly caterpillars, and those things need native plants.